So let's see. One of the last videos as the quarter's coming to a close. So as we're in week 10 and we're just about done, I wrote down what I think are the best 3 tips that have helped me survive through honors. So the first one I have is rewrite. So especially in honors English, you can always rewrite your papers, and it's a great way not only to help improve your grade and get up to 20 points better than your original score, but it really helps you as you're like reading through these things, and you can see, like Scott writes down the strengths and weaknesses, or well, strengths and how to rewrite. You can see like, what did I do wrong, and then apply those tips of how to do better not only to the paper you're rewriting, but to the next paper you're doing, or the next class with papers you're doing, or just any other thing. Because really, like when you're going through your rewrites, like I've noticed that I make like little habitual errors. It's like the same thing over and over, and like just from rewriting them, I can hopefully on my 3rd paper won't have to make those rewrites for the same thing. But my next tip, which is kind of tied into that, is learn from mistakes. So let's say you got a B on your paper, and you're not too psyched because you thought you did a pretty good job, but it wasn't quite there. Well, instead of feeling really bad about it and like being like, oh, I failed, just learn from what you did wrong in this paper and apply it to your next paper, so you won't get that B on your next paper, but you can learn from your mistakes to do better. And that same thing goes for like other classes. Like let's say you bombed a test, or like you totally failed in like a quiz or another paper, then you could just see what you did wrong and use it as a learning experience and springboard off of that, rather than like thinking, oh no, the class is over. Because actually in a lot of these classes, teachers will drop like your lowest quiz grade too, or let you replace it with another like score from something, so it's not the end of the world. And then my last bit of advice, target studying. So because we don't all have like a million hours to spend studying, and like maybe some of us work, or you're on another sports team, or you're doing like theater, so you don't have enough time to like really study hours and hours and hours on one class. So a great tip for like especially these reading quizzes and papers is like after the first one, you can kind of tell what your teacher likes to see. Like as for example, our Oceana book, I knew that Scott would be testing us on the bold headings, what it said in the pictures, like a lot of the percentage statistics. So after I read the chapter the first time, I would go back and reread like a section, and through that little paragraph, I'd look through things that he could possibly test us on. So for example, if the like one of the little sections said 90% of the shark populations are dead, so I would think of, oh, he could ask what's the percentage of the shark populations that are no longer in existence, or 90% of what is no longer. And so you can almost make the test questions that you might see out of the reading. So that really helped with my reading quizzes. And then what else? And so let's say you know that a teacher loves it for, well, actually all teachers do, for you to have your thesis in the last sentence of the first paragraph. So you make sure, even if it doesn't quite flow as nicely as you'd like, that you have your thesis like spelled out as clear as a bell in that last sentence. Because sometimes for me it gets a little messy with the vocab and it gets a little twisted, but I've been learning through those rewrites that you just have to spit it out as clear as possible to get your point across. So I guess those are my 3 tips coming towards the end. We have another paper due next week, and hopefully these 3 tips will help me on that as well. So until next time, good luck, and shoot for A's, everyone. I don't know.